Alrighty guys, we're going to do another film camera review for you. This one is from my favorite Soviet camera manufacturer, Belomo. I did a video on this camera before, the Agat 18K. This is my favorite half-frame shooter by Belomo. So yeah, check out the old video on that one. That actually happens to be a very popular camera. A lot of people always message me if I'm going to sell one of them. I might actually just give it away one day. So Belomo made another camera. This one's extremely rare, and it's extremely ugly. This has to be the ugliest camera in my entire collection, and probably the ugliest camera I've ever seen. This is called the Belomo Etude, or Etude. I believe the proper pronunciation is Etyude, but this is it. Let me give you like a quick runaround of it. There's the bottom, there's a tripod socket. On the top you have your viewfinder and an accessory shoe. There is no flash sync whatsoever. Here's the front. It has a plastic lens, and it does have a UV filter on the front, which you can't take off. You can take it off. You have to unscrew it from inside, and there's a lot of dust in it, but it doesn't really bother me that much. Here's the shutter. That's it. The shutter speeds are set from over here, and on the bottom is the aperture. It has 3 aperture settings. See if we can get in there real quick. F11, it starts at F8, I believe. No, sorry, starts at F11, F16, and F22. And that's it. F22, I guess it's good for this time of year because it's snowing and it's very bright out, but here in Delaware, I'm just going to stick with my F11 setting most of the year. I wish there was like a F8. I don't know why there's not. It's kind of silly to have all these other ones. But anyways, yeah, that's it for the camera. There's two settings for the shutter speed, B, and 1/60th. And that's it. There's also no in-between on that. And for the aperture speeds, there's no in-between settings whatsoever, because there's no aperture bleeds. It's all little concentric circles that pop in, just like the Holga, Holga camera. You probably could see it. Let me see if I can. Anyways, so this is the Belomo Etude. So there's the back of it. Don't know what that says, but I know CCCP means the Soviet Union, but there's the film window, here's the advanced knob, and the viewfinder. No parallax correction. Again, this is a very simple camera. Someone's initials is on there too. And when I bought this camera, I didn't know how to open it. It took almost an hour to figure it out. I kept thinking to open the door you had to pull this knob. The strap always gets in the way. I kept thinking you always had to pull this knob. Nope. That's not how you do it. There's nothing else to indicate how to open this camera. So if you look at this top housing, like this light colored greenish bluish type thing, that's it. That's how you open it. See that? That's how you get the film door off. It's very annoying. You don't want to get your strap stuck in it, because you don't want light leaks. So make sure that never gets stuck. So here's the inside of the camera. Let me put it on bulb setting real quick. And that's it. That's what it looks like. It's a 645 shooter. I believe it takes 18 shots in the 645 format on 120 film. Remember when I told you there's no aperture blades? So this is just how the Holga is like. You see that? With this camera, you have to make sure that the aperture is set on the line and in the middle, because if you don't, you're going to get weird exposures that'll look something like that. So this is how the camera works. That's it in bulb, 1/60th. It's a little slower, but you can't really tell. So here's the leftover spool from my old roll of film. So that's that. The film when this is a loaded roll of film, you just stick this in here. And that's it. Nothing holds that in place except for the shape of that little curve. So it comes out very easily. Put in the, oh, I need to get comfortable. I'm sitting on the floor here. Putting the spool on this side is actually pretty tough. So you just gotta somehow get it in. Yeah. Pull this out, get it in there, and then work it in. So once you get it in, you just have to fiddle around until it falls in place. Shit. So that goes in. Finally. Usually takes a lot longer. It's not, this side is not very friendly. And to put the film door on, set it in like that. You can see there's a little notch where the door goes. Gives you some sort of guide, and that's it. Again, take the film door off, and that's it. Make sure that your camera strap is not blocking the inside. I don't like this camera strap at all. It gets in the way of the shutter, just like, boom, there you go, just like that. And it gets in the way of the door. So I don't want to cut it off because it's, to me, it's an old piece of history I don't want to ruin. But yeah, so the lens is a plastic meniscus lens, by default at f11. But there's two other settings you can use. Belomo made this camera between 1969 and 1984. And they made 1.5 million units. I know, it's kind of hard to believe. And you'd think it would be extremely easy to find, but I guess a lot of people are throwing these cameras away after a while, because they are toy cameras, like, I guess that's what you want to call it. Yeah, so if you go on eBay and look these up, they're always like 60 to 80 bucks, and they ship from the Ukraine. I live here on the East Coast of the US, so shipping will always be like $25 for me. So I would never pay $100 for something this simple. But I found this one on Etsy for $12 and $10 shipping. So 22 bucks shipping from England, and it got to my house pretty quick. So thank you, seller on Etsy, for that. Again, this is the Belomo Etude, or the Etude, however you want to say it. And there's not much more to this camera. There's no flash sync, so whatsoever on this model. There is a rare version. I can't express that. So I can't express the rarity of that camera, where it did have a flash sync right here. I don't know if it was M sync or X sync, but it did have a PC port for you. And just to have accessories to is kind of silly. Don't know why I would do that. So, and because of the lack of aperture settings, you really do have to use long exposures. I have an app on my Android phone called Bcam, so to do an indoor shot, which I like, with no flash and with the tripod. There it is. I would mount this on my tripod, and I would load up Bcam on my phone, and it would tell me at this aperture I would do, well, first I would set it to B. At this aperture, I would do an exposure for 8 seconds long. And on the tripod, it's pretty sturdy. The shutter doesn't move around too much. So images actually come out very nice. I thought they were going to look like Holga's or Diana type photos, just because it has a plastic lens and a plastic UV protector on the front. This does not come off, by the way. I was actually shocked to find that some of my photos turned out very well, especially the long exposure indoor shots. I just had an issue with my film. I did post a topic on apug.org. I noticed the film I bought from Freestyle. I put it in the fridge, and eventually I took it out of the refrigerator. The ink from the paper backing, the ink, like, say this. Let's see. Say this ink came off. Come on, focus. Say this ink came off. I could see it on the film negative after I developed it. So it was kind of annoying seeing a whole bunch of dots and the word exposed across my images. But I am going to get some Kodak 120 film and test it out in this one. Whoops. So, and I also need to find a scanning mask for my Epson scanner, so if anybody knows where to get one, let me know. I lost mine, so here is the Belomo Etude, or the Belomo Etude. So, guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Should have more videos up again soon. So, thank you, and happy collecting.